This is John Ward, welcoming you to another presentation of Tennessee football on home video. The story you're about to see unfold is one of adventure and achievement. It's the story of teamwork, commitment, and the will to win.
Doesn't need a lot of... Oh! He took a weapon!
All right, y'all. Welcome back and happy Tuesday. It's time to break down Tennessee's defense versus Georgia's offense. Y'all, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And I think that this part of the matchup is what maybe worries some Georgia fans, and I also think this is what's given Tennessee fans maybe more confidence than I would say we would typically have over like the past decade or so, whatever. But I feel pretty good about this matchup, and you know, there's a lot of things that we will be getting into in this video. I'm going to go through a lot of this information, and then I'm going to be chiming in with the chat. So number one, man, thank y'all so much for joining us. So what you're looking at currently, this is how the matchup looks on paper, okay? Just as far as talent. So it's Tennessee's talent on defense versus Georgia's talent on offense. And I pulled these numbers from 24/7 Sports. And yeah, man, I mean, Georgia actually on 24/7 Sports, they have the #1 ranked, talented roster in the whole country. Very talented team. There's been a really big talent gap. If you think about whenever Coach Heupel came up to Tennessee from like 2021, 2022, the talent gap was huge. 2023 was still pretty big. But in those first couple of years, we were losing just because we were getting out-talented, especially up front. Now it's more about, you know, we actually have the talent to be able to go toe-to-toe with these players. And you can see, man, with Tennessee's defensive line versus Georgia's offensive line, we actually have more blue-chip caliber players right there than what they have. Now, only so many players can play at a certain time. There will be some guys for Tennessee that are going to be banged up that might not get to play in this game. Same thing for Georgia, just based off of their insiders, which I said this yesterday. I think that they're probably, you know, I don't know how honest they're being with it, but they're saying that Juan Gaston, who is a true freshman playing at right guard, might not go in this game. He's been banged up. And then their right tackle, I think that his name is Ernest Green, number 71. He might not play, or they're saying he's banged up, but he's probably going to play. That's a better way for me to say it. But either way, I feel very confident just like with the talent in this matchup. So let's move on to the stats up to this point in the year. And the first thing that I want for y'all to look at is on top of each team is going to show their ESPN strength of schedule. Again, it's just up to this point in the year. So Georgia, their strength of schedule, 119th. Tennessee's is 95th. So talking about Georgia's total offense, they're ranked number 37. Their scoring offense is ranked number 41. Their sacks given up per game, they're tied in first place, just like Tennessee. They've given up 0 sacks over the course of the year, but I can tell y'all right here, right now, that Austin Peay and Marshall were getting a lot of pressure. I'm not one of those people that looks at the quarterback and say, hey, man, the sacks are on you. I think that it should be on the offensive line. But Gunnar Stockton has done a great job of not giving up sacks. Because really, Georgia, you know, they're pretty close to having like 12 of them just up to this point through 2 games. So looking at Tennessee, our total defense is ranked number 53. Our scoring defense is ranked 74th. And then our pass rushing, just, you know, like getting sacks, we're ranked number 4 there. One of the things that I do also want to highlight is that last year, man, our pass rush, our pressure rate was great. It was really high, but we didn't close in getting sacks. Talked about that all offseason. Man, Tennessee's got to start closing better. I feel like we're doing it this year. You know, like we're already showing that. So the pressure rate might not be as great, but we're going to be able to close and get the sacks. I think that that was a strong point of emphasis for this staff and for this team in the offseason, just like we talked about. So, you know, those things to me look pretty good. Let's move on to the passing numbers. Georgia's passing offense is ranked number 58. Tennessee's passing defense is ranked number 87. Now, we played up against Syracuse. Syracuse last year had the #1 passing offense in the whole country. I think that they'll probably end up being top 5 over the course of this year. It's more about their scheme. Yeah, they lost a couple of players, but whenever you have a good scheme and if you're more like pass first, you're going to put up good numbers. Now, versus us, they weren't necessarily pass first. They ran the football like 44 times or something like that, but their scheme is really, really good. So am I down on Tennessee's passing defense? Not at all. I actually think that the secondary might be better, you know, possibly. Of course, we're losing 2 of our guys that we thought playing at cornerback would have been the starters coming into this year. But we've got so much depth there, right? So cornerbacks, we've got 2 players that are going to be starting moving forward that look really good, and then we've got some pretty good depth behind them. But at star, I think that we're pretty deep. Safety, not deep as just as far as like bodies or like numbers-wise, but very talented players. I like what they put on film so far. Linebackers look a lot better out in coverage, and of course, the pass rush will play a role in that as well. Something else, just talking about that pass rush, is that I felt like this season Tennessee's pass rush would come more from the inside. That was based off of the top three. Two of the top three might not play in this game. Jackson Moore could come back, but Bryson Easton will get to play. Don Bailey bumps inside. He could do some good things, I think, like using his speed. But, we've got some young guys that hopefully they'll be able to step up in this game for us. They're going to have to, because once you come down to these rushing numbers, this is something else that some Tennessee fans are kind of worried about. But Georgia is ranked number 34 in rushing up to this point in the year. Tennessee's rushing defense is ranked number 20. We should be higher than that. Okay, I think that we'll end up being top 10. I'm not too much worried about Georgia running the football right at Tennessee, especially not with their running back. Gunnar Stockton's legs, that could be a problem. We got to watch out for that. But also with jet sweeps and things like that, this is a game, man, that we have to play very well out in space. That's probably what concerns me the most about this matchup. Not too concerned about, just like with their running scheme, which, of course, we're going to be touching on all that as we get deeper into it. Now, third down, Georgia's ranked number 52. Tennessee's ranked number 25. Red zone, Georgia's ranked number 58. Tennessee's ranked number 73. Turnovers, Georgia's ranked number 56. And Tennessee's ranked number 62. So let's move on to this portion of it. Okay, so this is showing you Gunnar Stockton's passing trees from the start of this year versus Carson Beck's passing tree versus Tennessee. So the reason that I wanted to show y'all this is because we know that Georgia is hiding some things on offense. I think that they might have some problems on offense, but they haven't done certain things. So number one, as y'all are looking at this, again, Gunnar Stockton's going to be on y'all's left. Carson Beck is on y'all's right. But within those two quarterbacks passing trees, you'll see that there's two different ones. So the one that's on the far left shows the routes that are coming like from the outside. So it could be wide receivers, could be tight ends flexed out, could be running backs flexed out. The other one is just showing all the pass catching threats coming out of the backfield. I'm focusing more on the ones that are coming from the outside. The stuff coming from the backfield, really not worried about that. So if you're looking at Carson Beck, what he did versus us last year, and also those numbers is not showing you accuracy, it's showing you how often they threw these passes. So Carson Beck, he threw the go ball, which is where I'm going to start off at 35.3%. That's just like a straight vertical pass, okay? Threw that at 35.3% versus Tennessee last year. Some of this stuff will be based off of Tim Banks' scheme on defense. What's open is what they're throwing to. If you come back over to the left, you'll see that Gunnar Stockton's only at 8.1% there. This is what they've been hiding, okay? There's some gadgetry stuff that they like to do that will set the game up early with, they like to stay on schedule with this, where, hey, man, we're showing you stuff just to set you up, like in the second half, with some wrinkles off of this, okay? So they haven't really shown too many of those wrinkles. They haven't utilized their tight ends as much as they will moving forward. So let's talk about something else here, okay, that I want for y'all to focus on, and that's just those outs. Gunnar Stockton's throwing that at 18.9%, almost 19% so far throughout the season. Now, Carson Beck, he threw that versus us at about 15%. So expect the outs, expect the goals, the vertical passes. Last night, we actually put something out for the members on our YouTube channel and on our Patreon, just kind of like highlighting what Gunnar Stockton did last year versus Notre Dame. His passing tree looked a lot more similar to what Carson Beck's is. It was actually more vertical passes. He was at like 40.8%. So they will throw the football deep, and we also saw, right, he was 33%, 9 targets, only 3 catches. He was at about 33%. But he can do it, okay? So he is capable of doing that, just has not put that on film up to this point. So wanted to point those two things out, okay? Now let's talk about the key players for Georgia's offense. All right, y'all can see them here. Just take like a mental snapshot because we'll jump inside the film room as I'm breaking these players down, all right? So we're going to be starting it off with Gunnar Stockton, okay? He's a redshirt junior, 6'1", 215 pounds, and he's thrown 58 passes on the season. He's hit on 40 of them. That's 69%. 417 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rushing-wise, which is really where I'm more concerned at, 17 carries for 86 yards, 5.7 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. So he's a guy that, like I just talked about, he can throw the football down the field, even though he hasn't shown it too much. He's been checking down a whole lot. I will also point this out to y'all, that he's missed a lot of wide-open people. Like, they've had people schemed open, flat out hasn't thrown it to him, all right? So there's some things that Tennessee can do. Obviously, Georgia's scheme with Coach Bobo, I mean, it is what it is. We've seen it, so I don't know why they try to hide so much stuff early on in the season. I just think that Georgia is a slow starting team. But let's talk about Zachariah Branch. And this is in no order, y'all, but he's listed at 5'10", 180 pounds. He's a junior, 6 catches for 112 yards, 18.7 yards per catch, and he has 1 touchdown on the season that y'all looking at right here, right now. So he's a guy that P and I talked about whenever he was in the transfer portal back in the spring. We said, man, down the field, I don't think he's much of a threat. It's not just because he's very fast and he's very shifty and all that, but he's not the tallest guy. It's hard to find him down the field. I think that Tennessee can do a good job from that standpoint. But with the underneath stuff, with the quick screens and all that, you got to come up, you got to tackle. Like I said, Tennessee's going to have to play well out in space in this game to have a chance to win because he is a real dude. 5-star coming out of high school for a reason. I think actually in that Polynesian Bowl, he was one of the guys that, we talked about. I was like, man, he looks really good. Wish we could get him. But Georgia's got him. So they've got several guys on the outside. It's too many for us to get to all of them. But he would be the number one person. He also does special team stuff. Don't kick the football to him. There's no point unless you see him pre-snap, or I'm sorry, not pre-snap, but in like pregame, he's muffing punts. Then maybe you kick it to him. So next player is going to be number 8, Kobe Young. He's listed at 6'4", 215 pounds. He transferred in from the U, and Zachariah Branch, I don't know if I said this now, but he transferred in from USC. But on the season, Kobe Young has 9 catches for 106 yards, 11.8 yards per catch, no touchdowns. But he's listed at 6'4", 215, looks more like 6'5", 220 to me. He can definitely be that vertical threat. He can be like the jump ball threat, red zone threat, all of that, man. And like I just said, Gunnar Stockton will give his wide receivers the opportunity to catch the football in some one-on-one situations, but they'll throw it to him underneath. You got to come up. You got to tackle. I think that there's going to be a lot of stress on our secondary. Again, just on people playing out in space. Come up, make really clean tackles. If we can do that, then we can limit a lot of what Georgia's trying to do. And also, don't have mental lapses because, they will start the game off just to try to set you up for some things down the field later on. Next is tight end. Okay, he's number 4, Oscar Delp, listed at 6'5", 245 pounds. He's a senior. Kobe Young is also a senior. I don't know if I said that, but Oscar Delp only has 2 catches for 33 yards, 16.5 yards per catch on the season, and he has no touchdowns. That's a player that's just a bust in coverage, but Georgia does a great job of utilizing their tight ends. Haven't shown it on film so far this season, but we already know how that looks. So last player that we're going to talk about is going to be running back Nate Frazier, 5'10", 215. He's a sophomore, 25 carries, 116 yards, 4.6 yards per carry with 2 touchdowns on the year. I think that he does some nice things. We talked about it last year that he wants to get downhill, but he also has a problem fumbling the football, which you're seeing right here. We talked about it last year. He actually fumbled versus us. So I feel, pretty confident with Tennessee's chances to maybe force some more turnovers. Now, we're getting into Georgia's actual scheme. What they ran the most, and this is just their running game, not the most, but what they ran the best versus Tennessee last year was pull leads. Okay, so they ran it 20% of the time. They averaged 3.5 yards per carry. I think that we'll be able to hold up just fine here. It's just all about being disciplined. Linebackers got to get to their fits. Obviously, up front, we have to make sure that we're moving things, and then safeties also have to get to their fits. But I feel confident with stopping Georgia's running game. Now, inside zone is what they ran the most versus us last year. They only averaged 2.7 yards per carry. If you're worried about Tennessee's defensive tackles, this is the type of runs that you're worried about because it's actually coming straight at the teeth of our defense. They're going to have to step up and, just keep those linebackers clean. Now, what I'm the most worried about with Georgia's running game and really throughout this entire game is just the quarterback's legs. So here we have some runs that are set up really off of that inside zone where the quarterback can keep it. I think that Gunnar Stockton, he's got some good speed. He's not like a make-you-miss guy, but he can run the football, I think, pretty well. Now, with Georgia's passing game, like I said, man, they like to start the game off setting things up, and these are the plays that come off of the setups. They go down the field, that they score touchdowns off of. You got to be disciplined. You got to know what's going on, and they will go at the young players on this team. They will find them. I can guarantee you all that. Outside of, those types of things, they love to run 3 verts. They will try to get the football down the field, a whole lot of 3-step drop type stuff. What Tennessee needs to do is get pressure with our guys, especially on the edge. I think that we could win, versus their tackles, who I don't think are great. But I said the same thing last year after Ole Miss beat the brakes off of them. They got a whole lot of pressure, and we came out and got stonewalled. Can we do better this season? I think that what's going to help it out is bringing the freaking heat. All right, we actually blitzed, I think, more versus Georgia than we did maybe versus anybody else last year, so it doesn't feel like it, right? Because we never got home. We can't just bring 5-man pressures. We've got to bring 6, 7. Just dial it up, right? Like we're seeing Austin P and Marshall from this season, y'all getting pressure on Georgia starters. That's their guys out there. You can't pick up this many people, and it's a problem within their scheme. If you get them off schedule, If Tennessee can start this game off with a lead, if we can get up by like a couple of scores and make them have to try to, get off of the schedule of what they like to do, we start dialing things up, or maybe start it off dialing things up. I don't care, but get to the freaking quarterback, hit him, okay? Make sure that you wrap him up first. Second person comes in, take that kill shot, or, try to go out to the football, whatever. But we've got to make him feel uncomfortable. If we do that, Tennessee has a great chance to be able to win this football game. So with all those things being said, let me go ahead and get into the chat. Sorry that I kept y'all waiting for such a long time. I'm going to try to get to as many of these as I possibly can. So this one right here is saying Orange by 50. Love that energy. Again, man, thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for chiming in. And this one right here is saying GBO, you already know. Go Vols. It's a huge weekend. P and I can't stand them daggum dogs. And David Speaks going on, bro, saying that we have to make Gunner throw it. Yeah, I think that you might want him throwing it, but we also have to do a good job in coverage. Understand that Georgia has a very, very talented wide receiver core. We didn't even talk about Noah Thomas, who's 6'6", 200-something pounds. He's a problem. He can run down the field. He can do some very, very nice things. We didn't talk about Humphreys, who's their second leading wide receiver. They have guys down the field. Of course, their tight ends will be a problem. They're going to scheme them up in a way that we haven't seen so far on film this year, but we know what that looks like. So will we have the proper game plans? But I think that you're right. You want to try to force them into some passing situations and get the pressure on Gunnar Stockton. One of the things that I will also say for Tennessee fans, man, is that Coach Banks, he typically does a lot better versus the mobile quarterbacks than he does versus the ones that are more like true pocket passers that are accurate down the field. That was like Carson Beck last season, right? That was like, what's that coward's name from the freaking Buckeyes? Howard. You know what I'm saying? It's like those types of guys. Hey, they can run it, but they're really more like pocket passers. We do much better versus the guys that are, like Alabama's quarterback last year. So I think that we'll have something dialed up, but it's got to be like we've got to find a way to get pressure. And there's a lot of different ways for us to, there's a lot of different ways for us to win. It's just about, what does Coach Banks want to do? Do we understand that game plan from the player standpoint, and will we execute it? If we can do those things, Tennessee will be fine in this game. So this one from Rick is saying that I would hate to be beat by someone named Gunner. Give me a break. Yeah, you know what? One thing that I will say, Gunner is a really good name for a quarterback. That is a really, really good name. But yeah, I most definitely feel you on that. So this one's from Hub, saying that this is our best chance to get him. Yeah, I think getting them early too, man. Like Georgia's not going to look the same later on in the year, just like Tennessee won't. Nobody, like, you should get better over the course of the year. Let me tell y'all something else too. And what's going on, bro? Thank you for joining us, Jordan. So let me just tell y'all something else too. Like I'm kind of sick of hearing all of the, Kirby Smart's going to get these guys motivated. Like, that is so played out. Dog, like, you shouldn't have to do all that to get your team motivated. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they played up against some terrible teams. Tennessee played up against one pretty good team, and then we played up against another team that's not on our level. I'm not going to call them scrubs. But, I mean, we came to play. Why do they have such an issue getting ready to play early on in the season? And that's a real issue. We talked about this yesterday. That, man, there's a couple of games that, they were just really way too close in. And then they go face up against a team that can actually play with them, and they're getting beat down for most of the game. Now, Alabama let them come back in that game. But at the same time, man, like, let's just stop with the I don't understand the just like going out of our way to be negative, which I'm not talking to nobody here, I don't think, right now, because everything that people have been saying is positive. Look at the games, man. Like, watch what's actually happening. There's no reason for us to pull from last season. Last season doesn't really matter. Like, we can look at the scheme and all that, but it's two different teams. Like, I'm so sick and tired of some of these Tennessee fans when we need to be trying to get this fan base riled up. The game's played at home. The fans make a big impact and a big difference on this game. Why are you going to try to make them feel like, oh, we can't win? No, get them riled up. I just, that type of stuff, it is so old. It's so played out. I hope that we can win this game so that we can shut that stuff up. Like, I'm tired of hearing it. So that's it for my soapbox, man. I'm so sick and tired of seeing it. I'm so sick and tired of hearing it. But this right here is from my dog Teen Junior's going on, bro, saying that if not now, then when? We've got a good shot this season, 100%. And I wasn't saying this 2 weeks ago. Really hoping to get Moy back. The injuries on defense are killing us. Yeah, I think that it would be huge if we could get Jackson Moy back. Absolutely huge. I'm not banking on that. I think that there's still a possibility. But, we'll see tomorrow night. We'll see how the injury thing looks once that comes out. And we'll talk about it actually on our live stream. We will be doing our midweek chat tomorrow night. And I will have my dog Ruck from Straight Up Tennessee joining us. Hopefully Timmy G and J-Pack can also join us. But either way, man, yeah, getting Jackson Moy back to start right there next to Bryson Easton, I think that the type of pass rush that they could generate would be incredible. We haven't really seen it. Like, Jackson Moy went out maybe in the first series on defense versus Syracuse. So we haven't really seen that. But that's going to be a major problem along with our guys on the outside who I think can win. And, oh, by the way, on the inside, I think that their guys are decent. They're not great. They might have a true freshman starting at right guard. Coach Bobo's son is Coach Bobo's son. I mean, listen, we can get there. We can make a lot of things happen. I just don't even want for Coach Banks to even take the chance to say, hey, can we get pressure with 4? Why wait? Like, let's bring the pressure right now, bring 6 to 7, and force them into doing some stupid stuff. Something that Notre Dame did a great job of last season versus Georgia is they would bring the pressure from certain areas to make Gunnar Stockton go where they wanted him to go. If you force him, like, let's just say, we have a lot of people in coverage on the right side of the field. Well, bring the pressure from the left, make him go to the right where we've got things covered up. It's just things like that. That's how you can scheme it up. And Coach Banks is capable. We just need guys to be able to execute. So interested to see what that game plan looks like. But yeah, T and Junior, yeah, I would love to be able to get Jackson Moy back. So this right here saying GBO, you already know. Go Vols. 100%. That's a fact. That's a fact. Joshua Joseph, this is your time. I think so, man. And something else that I've said, and I've talked about it pretty much. Man, I think we started talking about it in the offseason, right? We know about Joshua Josephs. He's starting at Leo for us. Behind him, Caleb Herring, who he has all the skills. But Jordan Ross is different. I think that just from a talent ceiling standpoint, Jordan Ross is he's better than anybody else in that room. And he's really looked good so far. He's got to be the second guy that comes in. And I'm all for, hey, these guys have been here. They're putting their work. They've, earned their stripes. That's beautiful, man. Like, let them be captains. Like, let's do something special for them. But we need the guys who we know can play the absolute best in these types of games. And that's just all that. I'm not taking a shot at nobody because, again, I think Caleb Herring is really, really good. I just feel a lot more confident, me personally, with Jordan Ross being the next guy that comes in because he's setting strong edges. He's getting pressure. He's beating people with speed, with power. Let's play the real dudes, okay? Let's play our best guys, and let's not do any of this other, like, politics stuff. No need for that, okay? We'll worry about who's going to leave from the transfer portal whenever that comes. We'll worry about that later. Let's win right now. Let's worry about the right now. And I also think that Boo Carter probably needs to be starting at star for us, but it doesn't mean that I think J-Mac needs to be starting for us on the outside of corner because I think that Colton Hood and also think that Tyler Redmond look great playing in coverage, okay? And I don't know that will happen, but that's just me. And I'm not saying that J-Mac is bad. I just feel like, man, put your best starters out there. Put the best guys out there. I don't care about nothing else. That's where I'm at. None of the off-the-field stuff, I don't even care. Let's go try to win a freaking ball game. All right, so this one, that's a funny name, saying that you probably answered this before, but how did you end up a Tennessee fan in Georgia? Okay, yeah, so my father is from Tennessee. He grew up a really big Tennessee fan, and he moved down to Georgia. And so I was born here. I was born here. My brother P was born here. So that's why. You know what I mean? And obviously we are diehard Tennessee fans. And we don't really cheer for anybody else unless it helps Tennessee or it hurts Georgia. That's how we built on this channel. So yes, sir. All right. So okay. Yep. There it is. Thank you for telling that story. Saw that I got to that kind of late. I know I'm going off on a whole bunch of rants, y'all, but I'm passionate about this thing, man. I really want to win this game. So yep, got to make sure that 100% facts. All right. So AC good. If you're talking about Arion Carter, I haven't heard anything. Y'all might know something that I don't. I haven't been able to really catch up on anything, like not too many things this morning. I hope that he's good. He should be good because we're going to need him. And speaking of that, we haven't really talked too much about the middle of Tennessee's pass defense. There's a lot of Tennessee fans that are worried about that, and rightfully so, right? I mean, it's been a problem since Coach Heupel's been here pretty much. And I think that before it definitely was more about the talent. We have the talent now. I love Jeremiah Telander. He is from the state of Georgia. He's going to have to get the start. I think that he's going to play well. He typically does play pretty well versus Georgia. But we also have to just be very mindful of what Georgia's trying to set us up with. And I think that we definitely get that with our starters from a mental standpoint. But I love what I've seen from some of the younger players being out in space. I think that that could help us out tremendously. I also feel like we could run a lot more man coverage in this game. Excuse me, something that Notre Dame did a ton of. I think that they ran man coverage almost 60% of the time last season versus Georgia. They did like a lot of man blitzes. There was a lot of, like man with maybe like a spy, maybe like a robber. They would mix it up and they would show pre-snap one look and then post-snap they'd flip to something else. Tennessee just pretty much needs to replicate that because Georgia's scheme and all that, it's really not changing, but we've got to be able to win on the outside with our young cornerbacks. But again, just kind of like going back to our linebackers, I feel a lot better with them out in coverage. And we had to mix some zone in there, but they've been doing a much better job of finding people and not covering grass. So I feel good from all those standpoints. It won't be perfect. Georgia's going to hit on some plays for sure. They just have too much talent not to. But I just think that we will be able to do a lot of good things. Really, it's more about, hey, man, defense, dial up the pressures, maybe, get some turnovers. But I think that we can dial up more pressures this year because we feel more confident. Hopefully, this is the case with our offense. I think that our passing game, I think that we will be able to do some things down the field, and I just think that we'll be able to put up points. So we can play it a little bit differently on defense. But we'll see. Obviously, it's all about, offense, defense, special teams. It's about the entire organization. We all have to come together, and we have to have a really good game and a really strong showing. So hopefully that will happen. Yep, got to play great. Definitely sick of these fans pumping all this Georgia fear. Yeah, I am too. Yeah, man. Hey, look, I already know that most people are working, but we just want to do this live stream because yesterday we did 2 separate videos, and I was like, it really didn't make any sense for us to do it that way. Let's just do it live and do it all in one, get all the information out there, and then we can chime in with the chats. So this one is saying, mistake-free football is the key to victory, period. Go Big Orange. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know that we will play mistake-free, but I think that the team that makes the fewest mistakes will win, right? Once we get up, don't let up. Put on more steam. You have to do like all those game maxims. I mean, like that's some real stuff. We have to do that. But I would also throw in there, get off to a fast start. You know what I'm saying? Like we've got to get off to a fast start because that will get Georgia off schedule. Once they're off schedule, I don't know that they have a Carson back. You know what I'm saying? That can bring them back like they did versus Alabama last year. What's going on, bro? What are the odds that Kirby and the Dogs play soft against their cupcakes to throw us off, to make us underestimate them? I've seen a lot of people saying that, and I mean, maybe I would just like, for me personally, if you got to do all that, like that's too much. Something might be wrong with you mentally if you're going to go that far out of your way to, man, we're going to try to throw Tennessee off and be in a really close game versus Austin Peay. That's crazy. And then again, Georgia should have been able to just beat the brakes off Austin Peay with very basic everything, with the backups playing everywhere. The starters should have never even had to see the field. I think that there are some problems, but then too, like, what difference does it? We know what you run, dude. Like, you're not fooling anybody. Like we've seen y'all's defense and y'all's offense for a long time. Not much has changed. The scheme is the scheme. We know who your guys are. We can turn on the film and we can see, oh, this guy looks good. It's just, to me, that's just too much. Just come out here, play a daggum game. And Tennessee's, we've hidden some stuff too. But to go that far out of your way to the point that it's a close game versus Austin Peay, to me, that's just a little much. You know what I'm saying? That's just a little much. Yeah, I picked up on that, bro. Appreciate that. All right, so I feel good about these wrinkles in the offense and hope that it helps out in needing to switch up on the fly. That's been a huge issue. Dog, that is so well said. That is so well said because, listen, think about it last year, right? We get up, I want to say that we might have gotten up 17-0 versus Georgia in Athens in a must-win situation. Night game, all of that type of stuff. Everyone's watching it. People are picking against Georgia, all of that, right? Everything kind of stacked against Tennessee in that whole setting. And we come out with a great game plan. Like you said, the wrinkles that we've added is how we can get it fixed because obviously Georgia comes on, I think they score, 30-something unanswered points, something like that. That is an issue with the offense not being able to sustain drives because we showed you everything that we have. Now we've got so many different things that we still haven't even shown. So, yes, I think that this will be a full 60-minute rock'em sock'em game where everybody, every single coach on this staff will have the answers, but especially with Tennessee's offense. I am really looking forward to it. Let's just take care of the football, right? And I know that we're talking about defense, like Tennessee's defense versus Georgia's offense, but we have to make sure that we take care of the football. And on defense, go get the damn football. You know what I'm saying? Like, go get it. Like, put it all out there. Put everything out there. This should be a hard-hitting game. This should be fundamentally a very sound game for our guys. And also something else, and I'm going to get right back to this, so sorry for that. But also, y'all, actually, I'm just going to leave this up. Also, understand this. With the game being in Neyland, Gunnar Stockton has never played in a place like Neyland. Expect a few false starts. That, you know, they got some young guys playing up front. They're going to have to go silent count. They know it. We know it. Everybody knows that. We can mess them. We can really take off in this game. So I feel very confident, right? Not overly confident, but I feel confident in how things are stacked up in Tennessee's favor for this one. All right, so this one is saying, so Cajun Vol is saying that he doesn't think that coaches showed our whole hand either. 100% facts. All right, his deck is a bit looser so people can practice. But you don't know his hand. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we haven't. And I can tell y'all this firsthand. There's a lot of things that Tennessee hasn't even come close to showing out on film. We always say things for this Georgia game. We're going to be able to put up points, okay? Bank on it. We're going to be able to put up points for sure. All right, so from Tony Swanson saying, sorry, just joining, but who do you think will cover Branch with his speed? So I think that that's a really good question. So Branch is going to line up in different spots, mostly in the slot, but Georgia runs, they don't really spread the field out wide. They have like normal splits. You know, they'll bunch things up. They'll try to hide them, keep them off the line of scrimmage so that we can't press them as much, but you might want to be kind of physical with a guy like that. A lot of people will have to guard him. Bull Carter's going to have to guard him. J-Mac's going to have to guard him playing at star. Tyler Redmond's going to have to guard him. Colton Hood's going to have to guard him. The safeties will have to guard him. So it's not – Tennessee's defense isn't set up where, hey, it's one person, you just go follow this guy. I haven't seen it so far. I think that we probably could have maybe done something like that this year if we had our two starting cornerbacks fully healthy at this point. But they're both really good, so there's never really any point for us to do it. So sorry, that's kind of a long answer, but – basically saying that I think that multiple people will have to guard him. And based off of how Georgia lines up, it might, hopefully it doesn't, but it could end up dictating what the coverage is that Tennessee plays. We might have to move to zone if he's lined up in a certain spot. All right, so this one right here from Rick is asking, do I think that we should be starting Star Thomas? Bishop and Lewis look good, but Thomas seems to be playing at a higher level. You know what? I don't know that you can. So Bishop, so this is one of those situations where, hey, man, you've got three guys that look really good. Maybe the ones that have been here for the longest, maybe you just roll with them first and see how they play. Because I don't think that there's as much of a separation for us to say, man, Star Thomas, you get to take over. I wouldn't be mad if that happened. I think that we have three guys, any of them, they could all start. Doesn't really matter. I think that with our scheme, they're going to have lanes to be able to run in. But I'm on the same page with you that I think that Star Thomas probably looks the best overall. Like running the football, following his blocks, showing patience, running through tackles, showing the speed, showing some moves, but also catching the football. I think that he looks probably the best from all those standpoints. So we'll see what they do. I'm just hoping that we rotate all three of those guys as much as possible. And this right here, hey, thank you so much for this, Jordan. This is a super chat saying that we winning this junk. I'm going to go on ahead and tell you, yes, sir. Vols will win this game. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, so I hate to kind of bury that lead, but y'all already know where I'm going with it. So at this point, we just coming up on Wednesday, we will have the keys to the game. And I'm going to go through it. That is subject to change if I see something, because we're always watching film. If I see something that maybe change my mind, then I will most definitely let y'all know that. But, we won't get into the full scores and all that until Saturday morning. But tomorrow I will break down how I see this game fully playing out, just so that y'all can maybe get some good expectations and things like that. So this one from T and Jr. saying, hell yeah, we're going to have Neyland going crazy. That's a fact. I'm sure that it's going to be off the chain. And this one is saying that they believe that Banks hasn't had a reason to show his whole hand yet, too, 100%. The field is scary. Yeah, he hasn't shown everything. There's still a lot. Trust me, there's a lot. And I can tell what he's trying to set up. I can tell. I think that we're going to have a really good game plan versus Georgia. So from my dog Ruck from Straight Up Tennessee, y'all make sure to go check his channel out. He will be joining us tomorrow on our midweek chat. That's going to be tomorrow night, and we will be going live. But he's saying that he said this for weeks now, that we're closer than we've ever been, and that this is the time when the trenches and find a way to keep them guessing on defense, and the tight splits from the wide receivers will give Georgia fits. I think so. That's something else. There's a lot of people talking about Georgia's cornerbacks and their secondary players being overly handsy. Well, whenever you have tight splits, they can't really play press. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's tougher for them to play press. They have to try to play off. So that will open things up as well. For my dog, G White, what's going on, bro? Man, hey, listen, thank you for joining us, as always. Cameron is saying that last year with the offense, loved the game plan, that we were okay, so they were running the ball down their throats, but Carson Beck destroyed us over the middle, yeah. Gunnar has not proved once that he's Beck or Bennett. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that he's that. But I also want to caution people to understand something, that if he finds the confidence early on, he can do some of the same stuff. I don't think that he's as good as Carson Beck by any means, but he can use his legs. I mean, it just might look a little bit different with our game plan on defense, but yeah, I mean, we run the football, if we put up points, and defense just kind of like plays solid. I think that we should be able to get out of this one, but I feel pretty confident from top to bottom. And so Connor's also saying need to give Gunnar hell, 100%. From the film that I've watched, no way in hell I think that we should be, I think that we will be fine. And I'm not even, or I'm saying that I'm even, or he's saying that he's even more confident with the wrinkles. Now Georgia just can't sit on routes down the field. We got stuff that counters exactly what they do. Yeah, and that's the crazy thing that we talked about it yesterday, that Tennessee, with our passing game, it was just so basic. There just was not much to it. Now, versus Georgia, we did start off with some good wrinkles. But at some point, you just kind of like run out of those wrinkles with how our system was set up. Now, with the answers that we have so many different things that we can do to open it up even more. So G is saying that no UGA starting quarterback first year with under 10 starts has ever come to Neyland and beat Tennessee, in that same season. Don't think Gunnar will be the first. And I think that those are excellent numbers. I think that those are some really good stats. It's tough to come inside of Neyland and, go away with the victory, even with a very talented team. I'm telling you, the crowd has got to stay in the game. Like, start it off crazy. Like, it should be bonkers, and then keep it that way. We got to keep our foots on their throats. That's really, as fans, man, we got to have this team's back, and all we can do is make a whole bunch of noise. All we can do is hype the game up, right? But we got to be we have to be elite at that. So I'm going to challenge Tennessee's fan base to be elite, to be the most elite fan base in the history of any sport, period. We actually set a decibel record for college football last time that Georgia came up. I think it was like 140 point something. Can we go for 150? I think that the goal should be like 170. It needs to be ridiculous, okay? Neyland can and will have a really big part in the victory that comes out of Saturday, all right? So this one from Tony Swanson saying that it's not like we've played our whole playbook against the teams that we've played, so people, they say 150%. That's a fact. So 45 feet in the air in bucket doing. Oh man, well hey, look, dog, you probably need to focus on what you're doing, man. I don't want you to fall off of that, dog. But hey, thank you so much for joining us for sure. As always, bro. All right, so okay, good. So Tony's gonna be in Neyland. Yeah. And also, guys, anybody who's going to the game, make sure that you stay hydrated. That's how you can keep your voice hydrated. Make sure that you're eating some good quality foods. Find you some fruits, eat some veggies and all that type of stuff. If you have some time, maybe get a little bit of cardio in too, because that'll help with your lungs. But yeah, we got to take it that serious. You know what I'm saying? We got to take it that level of serious as a fan base, and I already know that's what we do. That's just how we roll. So MG Wade, yeah. You already know. All right. So let me see how many more do we have, because we might be getting close to wrapping this thing up. But I did want to definitely spend as much time in here with everyone as I could. So where's the next one at? All right, so this one's from T and Junior saying that they always play down to junk teams, but they got issues, and we got so many options with the new offensive schemes that we're going to get them this Saturday. Yeah, and that's exactly what I've been saying, is that, you know what, everyone has some issues, you know what I'm saying, especially early on. But I think that whenever you're playing up against teams like Austin Peay, if it's that close, we showed y'all how their pressure packages looked with the blitzes, There's no reason, and that was versus their starters. That was versus Georgia starters. There's no reason that they're getting that much pressure, y'all. Imagine what we're gonna do. Imagine what we can do. Doesn't mean that we will do it. The players got to show up. Will the players be ready? And actually, it looks like we got a super chat right here. Sorry that it's taking me a while to get to this. It's hard for me to go all the way down that list. I actually have to scroll inside of this studio. But thank you so much, Hub. Okay, yeah, man. Hey, listen, thank you. And we're gonna play the super chat for you. Appreciate that so much. So actually, I know that I've had y'all on this screen for a long time. Let's take it back to these stats so that y'all can look at that some more. But let me keep on going. Let me try to get to as many of these as I can. Okay, so this one right here from G. So maybe you might be, are you talking about Star Thomas? Yeah, I don't know if I would say that necessarily, but I think that he's really, really, really good. You know, I think that we have 3 of them. Really, we probably have 6 because Hunter Barnes being a walk-on player, he's been here for such a long time. He's looked good whenever he's got his opportunities. Not so much this year, but in previous seasons. And then I love both of the freshmen. You know, I really like what I saw from them running the football. I think that there's a lot of patience. There's just a lot to be excited about with this team. So Omar is saying that I watched your Patreon with Gunner's deep ball video, and what you don't understand is why Kirby's hiding the deep ball when we have it on tape versus Notre Dame. That's my point exactly. I don't understand why they're doing it, and hey, I could be wrong. Maybe they are trying to do it. It's because I have seen people running the routes down the field. I don't think that Georgia's offense has been super basic. I would say that it's probably been about 80%-ish, like, of what they like to do just from, like, a scheme standpoint, not 80% of all the plays, but of, like, their schemes within the passing game and within the running game, because you can run a lot of different plays, but it's the same type of stuff, right? So I'd say that they're at least 80% there. But, yeah, I don't know. I just think that I think that they're worried about their offensive line. I think that they know that it's not the best in pass pro, just based off of what I've seen so far. And just like how they're playing things, a lot of max protection, a whole lot of kind of like quick game stuff, a whole lot of moving the pocket, which I think that they'll try to do versus Tennessee. But yeah, I have no idea. Like, it just, to me, we know what y'all do. Like, you're not really hiding anything. You're not going to trick us. It's not like we don't have people who their entire job is just to watch film all, like, year round. That's all they're doing is watching film on different teams and breaking it down for them. So, okay. All right. Yeah. So Star Thomas. Yeah. I think the Star Thomas is really good. I don't know. You know, I think that he's an NFL back. I'll say it that way. So the deep ball only means something when it can lead to scores. For UGA, it didn't versus Notre Dame. Yeah, I would say that's kind of true. So you can throw the deep ball just to get the defense to kind of like back off, and then that can open things up too in the running game. It can open things up underneath. But it's always about chess, and obviously in football, every play isn't necessarily designed to score. Now, there are some offensive systems where they say, hey, we want to score on every single play. But in most systems, it's just about setting things up. That's something that Georgia definitely does. That's more like pro-style stuff where you're just, hey, I'm going to chip away, but I'm setting something up on the back end of this. So, yeah, if they can hit deep balls on a consistent basis, even if they don't score on those plays, it could set up other things. So we have to be mindful, man. And again, I know I've said this a lot of times, but we have to read our keys. We have to play disciplined football. That's going to be really big for Tennessee in this game. And something else that we haven't really too much talked about today is in our pass rush lanes, man. We have to do a really good job there of just trying to like force Gunner Stockton. And also, there's no need to try to take the kill shots. If you're the first guy to reach contact, just hold on to the players. The next guy can take the kill shot, like I've said, or go after the football. But we've got to hold people up and don't let them get like garbage yards because we're not able to tackle. That's going to be huge as well. All right, so the wide receivers dropped it. Yeah, so there was actually one for sure that we talked about last night. It was on a post. So they hit this is one of the setup plays for Georgia. So it's kind of like a boot, like a half boot or something like that. They have max protection. They send 3 people out on routes. They knew that, hey, based off of this look, Notre Dame's running cover 3. Well, in cover 3, you have 3 people that are playing deep. So you have 2 corners playing deep on the outside. Then you have the safety that's typically playing deep over the middle. Well, there was no passing threats to one of the cornerback side on the left side of the field. So he bit down and got out of his cover 3 zone, his deep zone, and tried to help out one of the other players in the middle with an underneath zone. Well, Georgia runs a post to the spot where he had just left at, and it was wide open for 6 points, hits the wide receiver right in his hands, and he just dropped it. And that was Gunnar Stockton throwing it. So that's my whole point. We have to play disciplined football throughout, over the course of this game, because Georgia does a pretty good job of setting things up down the field. All right, so this one, sorry, Robert, sorry to keep you waiting. Okay, they can hold the Vols under 20 points this year. I don't think so either. Now, look, their defense is very talented. They can always just turn it on. That's the one thing that I'll definitely say. And, obviously, too, they've got some very, very talented skill players on offense as well. Big guys, smaller guys, they're all just incredible athletes. But on defense, I think that we have the answers to be able to put up points. It's just going to be about not losing the football, okay? Let's hold on to the football, and once we get into the red area, once we're in, striking distance, we got to put up points every single time. You know what I mean? Put up points every single time. I'm not saying play scared. Always play to win. Don't play not to lose. But it's going to be big. Points should be at a premium in this game. All right, so T and Jr. saying that Star has been the biggest nice surprise. Yeah, I think that he's definitely been one of them. I mean, shoot, to me, I could maybe even throw Joey Aguilar up there. I knew that he could do some good things. I felt like our new system, some of the things we've added would help him out a lot. But he's been better than I thought he'd be. Obviously, Tyler Redmond, that's a guy that we already knew that he'd play well. Didn't think that he'd have to this season. But he's definitely shown up. Colton Hood, he's looked really good as well. I think that our safeties have played a lot better. Who else? Offensive line-wise, my goodness, dude, that offensive line is freaking ridiculous, y'all. That offensive line is crazy good. I couldn't be prouder of what we've done up to this point. But we have to go win this damn game because, as everyone keeps on saying, this is the team that can do it. We can do it, and we should expect to walk out of Neyland Stadium, with a victory. Are we pulling down goalposts? You know what? I don't want to talk about that yet. I don't want to go there just yet. But I'm feeling good. I think that the team should be feeling good too. So G saying that he watched Star and he literally disappeared going into the D-line. Yep. Man, I think that he does a beautiful job of reading his blocks. What's the guy that played for the Steelers that was just really, really patient? I can't even think of his name right now, but y'all know who I'm talking about. He was real patient. He would almost come at like a standstill sometimes. But I'm not saying that Star Thomas necessarily runs like that, but I want to say that he talked about maybe studying his game and his patience. You can tell he runs with a lot of very quality patience. And with a good offensive line, that's what you want to do. Just let them set those blocks up, and then you just do what you do. But yeah, man, I'm super proud of all those guys. So this one from Omar. Okay, so I don't know anything. I don't know about that, but yeah, that's probably good. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling y'all what to do medically, but I would say look into it. Anything that could give us that little bit of an extra edge. Definitely want to have that happen. All right, so this one, I wanted to be so loud in Neyland that EA Sports updates. Thank you. That's a huge point. No reason that we're not number one every single year, just as far as stadiums in that game. Tony Swanson is saying that he hopes that our defense gets healthy for this game, though I don't like the thought of UGA running the ball down our throats. Yeah, I mean, that is something for us to have to worry about, right? Just because having some probably lighter guys in there, yeah, that's something for you to worry about some. I actually kind of feel like Jackson Moore is going to try to go in this game. I'm starting to feel more confident that maybe he does go. Hopefully, that will be huge for us. So G saying or asking, would I say that we are a good red zone defense, especially if Georgia hits those long balls and sets them up in the red zone? Okay, so you know what? Maybe now I kind of see what you're saying there, right? Maybe we can shut them down inside of the red zone. I don't know. I feel like on paper our red zone defense probably would have been better last year just because we do, once you get to that point, if it's short yardage and all that, yeah, you do start to kind of worry about the lack of size with our tackles up front versus last year because we had some big dudes and we had a whole lot of them. So we could, line up with three big, 300-plus pounders in the middle. You can't run here. You got to flow to the outside. And, oh, by the way, we're taking up blocks. And, oh, by the way, we got guys that are headhunters getting downhill that are fast and all that. So I would say maybe it just really all depends on how this game ends up looking. It's kind of hard to tell until we actually see it in a live setting. So I would say that on paper, I don't necessarily feel as confident with our red zone run stopping defense, but maybe even more confident with our passing defense in the red zone. So that maybe it's kind of like a cop-out answer, but I really just don't know. So next one here, yes, we had to beat Georgia. All right, so we have a whole lot of chats in here. Actually, looks like we got, looks like we only have a few more, but I'm going to tell y'all what, man. We're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thank y'all for chiming in. And what I want for y'all to do is come back with y'all's thoughts and all that type of stuff in our next live stream, which will be tomorrow night. Not quite sure what time just yet, but we will be letting y'all know that probably like Wednesday morning. So I hope that y'all can join us for our midweek chat. Like I said, Ruck will be joining us from Straight Up Tennessee. Timmy G will probably be joining us, hopefully, and then also J-Pat as well. So with all that being said, y'all please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we will be talking to y'all tomorrow. If you're on Patreon, if you're on YouTube, we might have something coming out for y'all a little bit later on today. Y'all can also join us there. You can join us on YouTube as a member by clicking on the join button just below this video. And you can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Bluechip.